Hello, my name is Kelly, and we're going to go over the 45 goals of communism. And these were introduced into Congress in 1963, and they are the steps and the plan to move our country into one world communism, which is atheism, which avoids Jesus Christ. It is an atheistic system with a motto that states destroy capitalism, God, and rule the world. And America is under God. Its capitalistic economy is straight from the Bible, and the motto for capitalism or America is stop the spread of evil throughout the world. So you see, the two are completely opposites. Any system without God or Jesus Christ is ungodly or anti-Christ, right? So we're going to start with, I know before we went over a few of these, but we're going to start over. We're going to go with one. I don't know everything. I just began. I read the Bible, and I started noticing things in our government, and I started putting the two together, and I started researching, and I put little pieces together to get a basic understanding of what's happening in our country. And I thought, well, maybe I should share this so that other people can learn as well what's happening in our country. So number one is, these are 45 goals of communism introduced into Congress. 1. U.S. acceptance of coexistence as the only alternative to atomic war, meaning we have to coexist and become one, or we will have a third war, world war. So this is why they sent, I think, Billy Graham to Russia, and he made this huge announcement to the world that if America did not enter globalism, we would have a third world war. So this was fear. This is a tactic of fear, and it basically is how communism works. They're constantly afraid of being invaded, even though they never were. So how do you know that? Because I researched ideology subversion, so, and Marxism, and history of gun control, and on and on and on. So, number 2, U.S. willingness to capitulate in preference to engaging in atomic war. As I said before, I don't know what capitulate means. I know that's probably not good, but I didn't want to talk about every one of these, but I'm going to go over them, and then the ones that I want to talk about, we'll talk about. 3, develop the illusion that total disarmament by the United States would be a demonstration of moral strength. So this is what world globalism does. It is an illusion of peace. It is an illusion that we are all one, and that we don't need a big military, and we don't need guns in our country, and we don't need any protection, because we're all at peace. We're all one. Right? We're all one worldism. We all love each other, love your enemy, even though they want to cut your head off. It's all an illusion. It's written right here, an illusion. 3, and gun control. I'm going to go back to this because on just a basic level, gun control. They tell us we don't need guns, and we're Australia, they turned in all their guns, and then shortly after that they were invaded with immigration, and now their country's being destroyed from within. And it's like their government did this intentionally. That is part of, that is one of the steps. Historically, gun control and disarmament of a country is mandatory. It's a mandatory step that happens in all overthrows from within. So anytime your government wants to amend your rights, you better be aware of that. And in America, the Constitution guarantees us the right to bear arms, and one of the main reasons for that right is to protect us against an overthrow from our government, which is I think that's what this is. 45 goals of communism introduced into Congress, changing America, the Christian nations, into world communist state of globalism. That's treason. Folks, this is so well planned, and this is written in the book of Joel too. This is so well planned that the fourth stage of the locust, God says, you've been stripped, my land, my people have been stripped, and he's telling this to the enemy, right? He's getting ready to take back his land, and he said he allowed this for correction. But they were so good at it, they stripped 4 stages of the locust: religion, economy, political, monetary structures within the country have all been infiltrated by communism, atheistic views, removing, what ideology subversion does is it removes the foundation of the country, because they're opposites. Atheism and Christianity will never go together. So they infiltrate those areas and they start chipping away at anything and any law or any doctrine that has to do with the fundamentals. They divide it up. So they introduce things like drugs, because that's anti-Christian. They introduce homosexuality, which is anti-Christian. That's also demoralization, which is used big time in Muslim culture. You know, it's really a way to mentally control someone, because it's such a degrading act. Anyway, so these are all things that they have planned and they have instituted into our country to move us from. We have been so indoctrinated, secretly indoctrinated into this, that our country, we do not even know who the enemy is. We can't even identify the enemy. We had, hallelujah, Lord, we had a president in removing prayer from the school, right? Yet they made schools open up to Islam for prayer. They had the House of Representatives praying to Allah. I mean, folks, that's treason. And we don't even, Americans are like, well, I don't see anything wrong with it. It's like treason. They've been so brainwashed into this, the illusion of world peace and globalism, that they don't even see that they're being destroyed from within. You know, gun control, big thing on disarmament. Developed the illusion of total disarmament by the U.S. would be a demonstration of moral strength. They had gun control on the inside. Australia, they turned all their guns in, and now they're being invaded by immigration, and they're destroying the country from within. And they think their government's going to help them, but they're not, because the government, the government is the one doing it. It's a war on Christianity, folks. 4, permit free trade between all nations regardless of communist affiliation and regardless of whether or not items could be used for war. So this is saying open up free trade with nations that hold their people in bondage. It's a mindset of collectivism, that people are liabilities, right? They're not free. They don't have any individualism, any individual rights. They are property of the state. Remember, well, you probably didn't see it, but Obama said to the world, he made this speech, the United States is no longer a sovereign nation. It is a state of globalism, meaning we are owned by globalism, world communism, which was a lie, because that's what Marxist strategies, they give the illusion to people that they have all this power just to make people think they do, when really they don't. But it's like a strategy. But So free trade opened up. Free trade is what stripped the blessings out of the Christian nations and moved them into communist atheist nations. And who actually, the people in these nations, we're taught to believe that we're bringing all these people out of poverty, right? But that's not true. Because communist nations, they hoard the wealth, and the profits are held by the government. So the elite have the benefits. The people live in total poverty most of the time. You know, like Russia. What did Russia? Dictatorships are terrible. Russia actually starved millions of people because they tried to rise up against the dictator. And when they did it, he held all the food back, all the grains. The grains just like rotted on the ground. And then he increased his exports and actually was rewarded and gained all this recognition from the other countries for being so prosperous. And the whole time he was starving his people. And even Billy Graham, the elder Billy Graham, he went over there and came back and said everything was fine. Didn't see anything, and they're good, you know, everything's just the way it's supposed to be. It was a lie. He lied. They found out years later he lied. You know, false prophet. So, free trade is one of the biggest things that stripped, and that's really, they title it redistribution. So they tell the people in the country, we're going to give to you, the poor. But really, in their eyes, we're the rich, right? They're not looking at us. They're looking at themselves, how they can get the money for themselves. So they don't give it to the people in the nation. They get you to vote for them, and then they strip you, give it to themselves, and then they give it to the leaders of globalism. And the people in those countries don't get the benefits that you think. And now you can see, we can look at this now, with the fruit of that. The fruit of this, go look at Venezuela. The #1 oil wealth in the world. They are now a starvation state. They moved into globalism, or not globalism, yeah, socialism, and everything's confiscated. The government owns it. It ruined the whole country. People stopped working. Businesses left because the government gets everything. They take everything. They seize it. They own everything. The people don't own any. They can't even own personal property. I mean, they're the property. So, you know, Venezuela is a starvation state now. Free trade was an illusion to strip the Christian nations, to take them over, because they hate God. So they're really looting God's people. And God allowed it to correct his people. Right? You know, so if people think they're helping the poor, you need to go look at the countries that they took from and see the level of conditions that they're living in, and you will see that that is a flat out lie. So, 5, extension of long-term loans to Russia and Soviet satellites. So this is saying is go on and loan them long-term loans to build that bond, and give them satellites so that they can increase, you know, their technology and their control over things coming and going, I guess. 6, provide American aid to all nations regardless of communist domination. The reason we don't give aid to communist nations, or we didn't anyway, is because they are anti-God and their goal is to destroy us. So, and they starve and they control people. They keep them in bondage. They have no individual rights as people. They're considered property. Folks, that's slavery. Obama passed an executive order that makes slavery a law. They can come into your home anytime and take you out of your home and put you in a work camp, and it is legal. He has another executive order that makes him the dictator. These are acts of treason. So you don't aid communist nations who are starving their people. We're supposed to free people. We're supposed to bring them into the will of God, into freedom. not slavery. And you don't. 7. Grant recognition of Red China, admission of Red China to the UN. Now the UN is actually very important in Bible prophecy. The UN is the 10 nations of the Antichrist system. So that's very important. And I don't understand the part about, I just learned all of this. I just know a little bit, and I read the Bible, and I read the Bible, and I can see the things going on in our country. So I just started researching, and I started putting everything together. So I have a basic understanding of what's going on, but I don't understand like in-depth things, But apparently nobody wants to do this, so I guess I kind of stepped up and said, I'll make a video myself. So, number 8, set up East and West Germany as separate state in spite of Khrushchev's promise in 1955 to settle the German question by free elections under supervision of the UN. So this is, I don't know if this is passed or not passed. I don't know. Number 9, prolong the conferences to ban atomic tests because the United States has agreed to suspend tests as long as negotiations are in progress. Do you see this? Deception all over the place. 10. Allow all Soviet satellites individual representation in the UN. 11. Promote the UN as the only hope for mankind. If its charter is rewritten, demand that it be set up as a one-world government with its own independent armed forces. And they actually have their own military now. They sure do. 12. Resist any attempt to outlaw the Communist Party. I had no idea we had American communists in this country. I had no idea till I started. And there's a movie, a documentary called Streams from My Real Father by Joel Gilbert. Well, I suggest anybody who's interested in what's really where all of these people are from, like Obama and Clinton and all of that, you need to watch that, because that will really show you some things that are not what you expect. So the Communist Party actually is now Socialist Democrat Party. They're American communists, the Democrat agenda. And that's why they believe in abortion. That's why they're liberals. They're as far that they go as far left as they can to move us into communism. And when you research Obama and you watch that movie, you'll see that. You'll see all that. 13. Do away with all loyalty oaths. Pledge of Allegiance, the flag, prayer in school. 14. Continue giving Russia access to the U.S. Patent Office. 15. Capture one or both of the political parties in the United States. And they did. They captured the Democrat Party. And what happened was they used to have a liberal party. There were like 3 parties. And they actually, the socialists moved into the Democrat Party. So it's actually Democrat Socialist. It's really not Democrat like you think. America was actually Republican all the way around. Like today, everything is Republican. That's when it first started out. There was no Democrat Party. It was all Republican. So communist values are in the Democrat Party, and under ideology subversion, which is the plan or the tactic used to overtake a country from within through the government, right? That's what they do. They can get it to the point where you actually think there are 2 parties in your country, but there really is not. It's all one. So people think they're voting for 2 different parties, but it's all a deception. So so the Communist Party is now in the White House. Well, not with Trump, but before Trump. Obama was the communist, Marxist communist. So 13. Do away with all loyalty oaths. Wait, I think I switched. 16 use technical decisions of the courts to weaken basic American institutions by claiming their activities violate civil rights. Now this is another, this is part of destabilization. This is the second stage of ideology subversion, overtaking a country from within. So they introduced like all these different civil rights groups, like labor unions, and Obama, he's I can't remember the name of it, but there's this big organization that he funds, and they represent like they're basically just they're organizations that are set up to create division in the country, to destabilize the country. Like abortion. They don't care about women's rights, okay? That's a lie. They don't care about women's rights. All their goal is to move the country away from the foundation of God and Christianity into anything except that. They don't care what you're in. And they'll tell you they care, but they do not care. They don't care about immigrants. They don't care about any of that. All they're trying to do is create division and to bring our country away from the foundation of Christianity. And once you know that, that's their goal, and that's the agenda, then you look at everything they say in a whole new way, because you can see, oh my gosh, they're actually just lying. Like change, code word for Marxism. Equality, code word for Marxism. And I remember when Michelle Obama, I saw her speech when they first were in office, and I thought and I thought, this doesn't even sound American. And I even said that. I was sitting on the couch watching. I said, wow, she doesn't sound very American. And then now, after research this year, right? This is a couple years later. I'm researching all this stuff, and I'm like, she's a communist. She's a Marxist. She's using all the things from Alinsky's 8 Radical Rules. She's using all of those in her speeches, and it's all a tactic to make you feel underprivileged, and that they're going to save you because your system and your government is against you. When really it's not the system, it's the people in the system dividing your country so they can destroy it and loot it and take it. They're actually turning you into a Marxist communist, and you are becoming the enemy to your own country, and it's brainwashing, and people don't even realize it's happening to them. People be in church saying, well, I don't see anything wrong with abortion. I think everybody should have the right to choose. I'm like, the motto for America is stop the spread of evil in the world. If somebody votes for abortion, right, they don't have a right. That's not your job to allow that. It is your job to stand for right. But people have been indoctrinated into loving the enemy and to just be nice, that they give up their own faith. They are worshiping what they do not know. It's straight from the Bible. So, get control of the schools. Use them as a transmission belts for socialism and current communist propaganda. Soften the curriculum. Get control of teachers' associations. Put the party line in textbooks. And this is true. This is what people think. I just went for a 2-year degree, and I had microeconomics class, and this is what the teacher believes. They believe that we should all be one world, and love each other and share. And I was sitting in class, and I was thinking to myself, this is like 2 years ago, I was thinking to myself, why would we give to our enemy? Why would we do that? And I couldn't understand what everybody was, the globalism and all this. And so I get through, right, and then I'm starting to research some things, and I'm like, oh, that's what somebody in my past told me who the enemy was, because I never forgot it. But for the life of me, I don't know who it was. But I keep thinking, boy, I wish I did, because I sure like to thank whoever it was. But the school system has been infiltrated, and out there thinking like communist propaganda. They think that they're the enemy. The enemy is the government and the capitalism and God, and everybody should love each other. And that's all and good. You should treat people fairly. But when you choose to give up your faith for someone else's faith, that's converting you. Why would you want to go follow an economic system that's always failed? That doesn't even make sense. I know we're going on 25 minutes, I think. So school systems, education systems, one of the hidden dynasties, gain control of all student newspapers, and this is true. Media, they will not speak the truth. Joel Gilbert, he held a press conference, and he said about his movie, his documentary of Dreams from My Real Father, about Obama's father being a Marxist and whatnot, and exposed him. He told them, he said, if anyone would just research this and report this, you would win a Pulitzer Prize or a Nobel Peace Prize or something like that. But they're all controlled by the infiltration of American communists, so they won't report it. I'm surprised they haven't killed him. People wonder why there's so much lawlessness in our country and stuff, because that's what dictatorship, communist, Marxist governments do. They kill everybody. You don't get to like stand up and say anything. You have no rights. 19. Use student rights to foment public protests against programs or organizations which are under communist attack. The war. Vietnam. I did a report on Vietnam, and I did a big project on it. And the reason Vietnam was drug out for as long as it was drug out for like over 10 years because America propaganda. They were so anti-war is anti-God, right? Because God, all through the Bible, teaches you to stand for freedom, stand for your faith, and stand up for the oppression of other nations. When the nation says, I want to be capitalist, and your job as a capitalist is to stand with that nation. That's the whole point of being on the earth, is to build a government to show other countries God's glory, nation power, love, salvation, right? So that's our job, to fight for God. So all these communist propaganda came in, and free love and drugs, demoralization, stage 1 of ideology subversion. Put so much pressure on the government and the system that it really drug the war out is what it did. Where if we would have just went in there right up front, that war would have been over, and those people, they would have been capitalists, right? But no, people don't even know what stone they're hewn from. Over here supporting like the oppression of other nations. It's like, no. 19. We did that one. Use student riots. 20. Infiltrate the press. Done. Gain control. 21. Gain control of key positions in radio. Done. They've already done it. 22. Continue discrediting American culture by degrading all forms of artistic expression. An American communist cell was told to eliminate all good sculpture from parks and buildings, substitute shapeless, awkward, and meaningless forms. That's true. I went over, the businesses are leaving our area, and we really don't have anywhere to shop now but like the mall and Dollar General and Walmart, socialist Walmart. So they took Kmart out because, they're not going to stay where they're not going to make any money. And what's there now? FEMA is there, a government program. I thought, well, now, see? We're going to stop here because this is a lot of information, and I don't want to, this is 30 minutes, that's way too long. So we're just going to stop right there, and we got some of it, talked about. But I hope this inspires you to do research for yourself, and to pull these up and to look at them, and to look around, and to watch things going on in your country, so that you don't get taken and lose your freedoms because because you trust your government and you trust things around you to just be good. God wants us to open our eyes and to see truth. All right, so let's just pray real quick. Lord, we just come to you at this time to say thank you for giving us eyes to see and ears to hear, and we pray for more wisdom, and we pray that you be glorified among the nations so that they can have salvation and not be robbed of their salvation, and that we don't follow into the ways of darkness, but we continue to spread the light of your word. In the name of the Lord Jesus Christ we pray. Amen. All right, till next time, folks. Thanks for hanging out.